Peace and power to the people. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the series Like It Ain't. I am your host, John Pellerman. We are glad to have you this evening with my co-host, Vic Virtuous, and our other co-host, Nicole Drew. How y'all doing this evening? Nicole, how are you? Frozen, that's what she is. Vic, how are you doing, brother?
I'm blessed and doing well, brother. Thank you so much for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. We just keep pushing through. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I try to find time to unpack some of the drama as we can, because society doesn't seem to really be trying to give us space or a place to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that's also why I appreciate platforms like this. I feel like It Ain't, we get to talk about different things and express, how we feel,
Right.
And we all need that. So, Nicole, going once? No, going all together. All right. So, Nicole will be back by the pool. All right. So this evening we are doing a week in review, or a couple of weeks in review. There's been so much going on, brother. Like, it's just constant. Like, we always want to do a topic, or Vic and I be talking about different, Vic, myself, and my wife, Nicole, will be talking about different topics for each week. And we'll come up with a topic, and then some stuff will happen. And we're like, oh, really?
Never a dull moment.
Y'all couldn't wait a week, or just wait an eternity. Stop with the madness. So the first one we're going to start with, Vic, I must say I'm a bit ashamed of, because this story happened in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I first saw this video, I wasn't aware that this woman was in Jersey. This was in Short Hills Mall.
Mm-hmm.
We had another Karen attack. Short Hills. Now, Vic, I know as a Jerseyite, we both already know as brothers, we already understand what Short Hills is.
Mm-hmm.
And the mentality already in general in Short Hills. But the Karens haven't been attacking out there. We weren't hearing about this type of stuff. So anybody that's watching or tuning in right now, if you're in the chats or otherwise, please join in on this conversation. We want to get your opinions on this Karen thing that happened. Hey, Nicole.
And there she is.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that.
All right. In full HD. That's what I'm talking about. All right. How are you doing, Nicole?
The power of Android.
Right. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. So we're gonna go right in. We're gonna start with this first Karen video. Nicole, I was saying I'm a bit ashamed because this Karen video happened in New Jersey. Am I surprised? Like, racism doesn't exist where John and Vic reside? No. I'm just disappointed. So can we show this first video? This is going to be about 3 minutes, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Oh God, no, it's you. Now you are, oh my God. Oh my God. Do you see this? Oh my God, I never thought nothing like this would happen to me. She just tried to run and hit me. And now did you see her? She tried to hit me. Now I want security for you. No! I'm scared to even approach her. No, why don't she walk away from me? No, I was here. No. We're not doing this. Why don't I walk away from her? Why don't she get away from me? She could get away. I'm sorry. You keep lying saying I'm threatening you, so I'm recording to protect myself. Look at this. Get away from me! Oh, y'all better get this lady! Get away from me! You're gonna look at this! Get security! Get the fuck Can y'all get her away from me? Get her away from me! Oh, have mercy.
No, it's a short profile. She's recording me. This person's writing me. She's recording me. She has purple hair. And
She's lying on the phone. Don't tell me what to do. She said I threatened her. Well, I don't give a fuck about her being sick. I'm worried about me. You hear this? Yo, y'all can't think y'all hear this? This stuff y'all read about. This is real. This is really happening to me. She's on the phone with the police on me, and she's chasing me around the damn store. So I was attacked in the mall, almost attacked in the mall. The manager, I had to run behind her. I chased him around. He's telling me he can escort me to my car, but she's not. She doesn't have to leave the mall.
Listen,
I'm not finished shopping. I have 2 other stores to go
Here's what
to.
I'm saying. I don't work for the mall. I can't order her out of the mall.
Yeah, but you work for Milburn. I was just almost assaulted in this mall.
I can't. The mall security can ask. What I'm saying is, I'm not telling you how to leave or anything. But
I'm not saying that, but
if for some reason,
if the shoe was on the other foot, and I would have tried to attack her white ass, you would have me escorted out this mall.
Okay. Any reactions? Any thoughts, Vic? What were you
Ladies
thinking
first,
as you were watching?
please.
No. I need to hear from you, brother. I'm asking you.
Oh God, dude. You know me with no filter, man. There's so many different layers and thoughts in my head going on right now. First, I'm thinking of like a Jason movie, like Camp Crystal Lake with the girl, the white girl, whatever, running and just hollering, all the dramatics and
Yo,
and all this. So like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, man. The falling out, the doing the electric boogaloo on the ground with the shaking and shit. I'm sorry.
He said the electric boogaloo.
Yeah.
Hey, some people were talking about this girl holding the camera, bringing it, resorting to like the racist comments or whatever. I'm like, yo, she was just saying what a lot of us would have been thinking, straight up, like, and just laughing at the same time, like, yo, I'm sorry, like, it just. Doing? The woman, you hear the woman in the background talking about, can you please put the camera away? She's having a meltdown or a mental break or whatever it is. Like, I'm sorry. There's just, that may be the case, but there's so many double standards and so many videos and so many things that happen off camera that we see and witness where the security is not as calm and not as poised with the opposite ethnicity. Okay. Right. And the woman is chasing after the woman with the holding the camera.
Yeah, chasing after.
Like where was the security? Where was a call to like? It just seemed like that was what 3 minutes going on.
Yeah, and listen, the video itself was like 10 minutes.
I heard it was like 20 something.
Because see, I chopped it down to 3 just so it could be watchable for us. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I saw this, someone sent this to me before, and first of all, I thought it was fake because the whole orchestrated fall to the floor, I had to laugh, like literally laugh out loud because I was just like, it was so dramatic and it was like, oh,
yeah.
You know, I mean, I just said, what the heck? And then just the screaming and hollering and everything. You know, but then, I mean, now this woman, apparently what I've heard, I don't know for myself, but someone mentioned to me that they were trying to give her a hard time. And that was the whole point of her doing the video because the woman was trying to like attack her. And you saw it on the video, like now when the video first started, you didn't see her first attack, which precipitated why she was actually, filming her and recording her. But she apparently was trying to attack the Black woman.
Yeah.
But like Vic said, why is it that we always, like I'm looking at the police officer. I don't know what happened beforehand, what conversation they had before that, and if he heard her side or if he was taking both sides. But, I just think this happens far too often and they do it because it works.
Yes.
Because I was thinking about like, why would you even think to just do it? Was funny to me, honestly, because I'm just like, really?
Yeah. Right. She fell on the floor. Then one time she froze like them heroin addicts when she was just frozen, and then she kind of just slid down to the floor. So let's start from the beginning.
I mean,
here.
I don't know. Do you think there's a mental issue going on there, though?
There could be, but my thing is, then why is her behind roaming around Victoria's Secret by herself, unattended? Where was somebody who should be with her? You know, suddenly the mental thing was an issue when it was to help her. But otherwise, where was this? Like the woman at the end that Vic talked about, who she was like trying to tell the black woman to put the camera away. Where was she this whole time? Suddenly you walk up to this woman now when she's calling the cops. Like, it doesn't make sense. So
that was what was funny to me too. Everybody was just standing around, just kind of looking like, okay.
Right. And you know what?
And then like,
okay, that is?
Have a nice day. Thank you for your purchase. And then people were just moving on.
And you know what that reminded me of? Because I grew up around a bunch of this in Scotch Plains. Is
and in Hillsborough,
white people, some white people, especially when I was growing up, they were allowed to try out and do and say the craziest, most outlandish stuff that if someone black was around and witnessed it, they'd be like, oh, I can't believe they just said that or did that. And the other white people that witnessed it would just ignore it or would just write it off as, oh, they're just being young and rebellious, or, oh, that's just, you know, blah, 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 blah. But put the shoe on the other foot. And if it's us, suddenly now we're a danger. Someone has to call the police. We're hostile, you know? So that's what that reminded me of. That's that privilege. And big up to Seed Popular. Let's get to a couple of the comments. He said several levels of audacity. Mikkel also said, doesn't that look like some child facing the floor, falling on the floor? She was like a child having a tantrum, without question. Without question. Seed Popular said Abigail refused medical attention if you watch the full 9-part video on YouTube. 9-part video.
You see what I mean?
So we start from the black woman filming this woman, and from jump, she comes at her like she hits her. And the black woman, I guess, dodged it so she didn't get hit. Then the woman immediately falls to the ground when she's being filmed. By the way, she acted like the camera. She was like the Wicked Witch of the West. You know, somebody threw some water on her and she was melting. No, the phone, no. It's such a powerful tool now. Like, they're so fearful of being captured on camera for who they are.
Let me ask y'all too, just to piggyback off of what you just said. When the video started, and I would love to know the context prior to when it started filming.
Me too.
But when it started, did it appear to y'all like she was almost like she pointed and like kind of smiled, like smirked, and it was just like, you know, and then went into the act, into the dramatics. I didn't know if that was just me or not.
No, it wasn't you. And if you hear a few moments later, the woman who is holding the phone actually says, if I didn't duck, that woman would have hit me. You know, so the woman swung on her, thought she got away with it, and was like, and then when she realized she was being filmed, all
hell broke loose.
Yeah. All bets were off.
Do you think, I mean, I'm not discounting the fact that there are a lot of people who experience this type of behavior pre-pandemic. But do you think that a lot of what we're seeing now is the result of people having cameras out all the time, or just people have really, I think, you know, everybody is experiencing some mental challenges right now. I'm not trying to make an excuse for her behavior at all, but do you think maybe some of that has to do with the pandemic? It seems like
Vic,
people are wilding out.
I think it's both. I think it's always been around, and I think it's being filmed more because people have their camera phones out. Like racism, it's always been there, and then people wonder why. Oh, why does she have to take it to race? Well, think about it. I mean, we've been experiencing this for how many years now? Like, it's trauma. So even if it's not that, people may resort to that out of just what we've been accustomed to, what we fear. happening, especially with the situation in the park with the dog and my man was holding the camera. It's the same thing over and over and over. Come on.
Yep. You're right. It's the same thing. And it ends with them calling the police. Like, this woman, do you understand the audacity? Because let me tell you something. They keep saying that she was crazy or she had some mental issues. No, she didn't, because she knew that when the camera was on, that meant she was caught and she flipped out. And then she also knew that her privilege would allow her to, after all the BS she just pulled, to call the police on this woman and then give detail about her. If you heard her, she said she's got poor purple hair. She said poor purple hair.
Come on now.
So again, this does not sound like someone who has who has mental issues, or she has some issues, but it ain't that. She has some race issues, because I don't know why you would say poor hair. I don't know why you're calling the cops when you know deep down in your heart you hit this woman. Do you know they have so much audacity that some of them think like she might have actually thought she didn't hit this woman. They're so convinced of themselves and their reality that when real reality actually hits them, they freak out and they're like, no, this is not real. This is not happening.
And it's again that entitlement, like I heard somebody saying on the news, it's almost like, not almost, it's like they'll do something and then get mad at you when you do something in response, like pull out a camera or call somebody over for help. It's like they're supposed to be allowed to do these things and just like
Vic, what else should this woman do?
Not that it matters. It's the same difference, but because I didn't hear the poor purple hair reference. But do you think she was saying poor people hair?
No, she said purple because she was describing the color of her hair, and she said poor.
Okay.
Now that poor people makes more sense because you're like, what's poor purple hair? And what's rich purple hair?
It was a bad weave.
Bad weave. She's like, this is a bad weave. I'm in Short Hills. I know bad weave when I see it from a mile away, lady. I ain't that crazy.
Wow.
And then she said, and then she said she's threatening me. Like she actually put up her hands or pulled up a weapon to attack her. No, she pulled out a phone to record you crazy behind doing what you was doing. That's threatening you. That's making you all this other stuff. Come on.
That's making them do what, Vic? What did she do? Repeat on that.
The electric boogaloo.
The electric boogaloo. I thought the video was hilarious just watching it because I was like, is this real? Yeah. I mean, you know, it just seemed like it was so orchestrated that you know, and choreographed.
It is orchestrated in a way.
So ludicrous.
Yeah, it is. In a way, it is orchestrated. You know, it's not like they thought of it ahead necessarily, but when they're in the situation, they start orchestrating right there. They realize that they can get away with stuff. She literally was on the floor and was saying, "Don't film my mental breakdown."
And I was, you know, Nicole raised a good point because when you talk about, you know, I mean, when she said, you know, why was she following her around? I was thinking the same thing that, okay, she said, I'm just trying to film you, you know, for my protection. And then she comes and lunges at her. Right. You know, and when the woman went on about her business, because that part cracked me up as well, because she started saying, you know, oh, well, I was just interested in these panties and, you know, and just goes on. She's still filming the lady, and then she just lunges at her and tries to run after her around the store. But I found it really interesting that people were just standing around as if this woman is not really going crazy right now. I don't know where the employees, you know, I didn't see action from the employees, and that just seemed really funny, you know, and weird to me. You know, no managers coming around to say, ma'am, let me help you up. You know, listen, you know, do you need some water? I don't know, something, or, you know, I think maybe you need to leave something. You know what I mean?
Right.
it just seemed weird that no one was really doing anything.
You see, and you could even
security forever to get there.
Go ahead.
You could even make a case with that. Like, again, what we're so accustomed to seeing, if it's the shoes on the other foot, it's all out security. It's all out phone calls being made. Oh, this person is disrupting this, space that way, whatever they phrase. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you guys remember the situation with that, the white lady and the dog, when she threw the dog at the guy in the video as they were talking. Yeah. She had a mental.
The dog got tangled up, or she actually literally threw her dog at the dude.
It wasn't even her dog. If you look it up, she was holding the dog, and her and the guy, which was a black guy, they were going back and forth. And I forgot exactly what the exchange was about, but she said some racial things within the comments, and she had the dog in her hand, and she threw the dog at the guy, and while he was filming it. Yeah, and this is another situation like this. So, I mean, my point is, again, we've seen these things happen over and over. So even if this situation was not that, it leaves us to be in the defense automatically with our guard. I would have been.
Yeah.
I would have been, honestly. You got the woman at the first, to your point, with the this being like it's being like so dramatic and like stage. We thought the first time I saw it was on social media as a meme, and you see the woman doing this, and I thought it was fake.
They've already made videos about it.
I don't mean to make light of it if there was a mental issue going on. It just, when I first saw it, it really did make me laugh, because I was like, is she just being overly dramatic and making this whole thing? Now, I mean, that looked like epilepsy behavior. When someone's having a seizure. I don't know if that's what was going on, but it didn't seem that way. So I hope that's not the case. And because I do want to say, I'm not trying to make light of anyone with any kind of disability.
No, not
at all.
I mean, I didn't understand it. And
she's not epileptic. She's white epileptic.
I don't know. It just didn't seem right.
That's what she had. She had a white epileptic.
You lunging at someone.
I'm white. Wait a minute. Things aren't going right. I'm white. Sorry. All right. So Nicole, I must have froze her up on that one. She didn't like that white epileptic, huh? It's like, as a lawyer, I say I can't stand by that statement. There she goes. Nicole?
Wait. I missed it. My phone.
Great.
Lost connection. That's
okay. All good. I was saying that she had a white epileptic seizure. That's where we ended at. Nicole's like, Jesus. I'm hoping we got past that point when I came back. No, but seriously, no, but you're right. We're not making any fun of anyone who has serious, actual mental issues, clinical mental issues, epileptic seizures, or any of these things. But again, this woman there was too many instances that showed me she didn't have any mental issue. And usually people with mental issues have someone with them. Okay. And if they don't, because I've seen some people with mental issues roaming around, but guess what? They asses wasn't roaming around Short Hills Mall. That's for sure. Because if you got some mental issues and you roaming around Short Hills Mall, I'm thinking you starting to get past them issues, because you got to do something right to get up in Short Hills Mall. You can't just come. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it.
So is that more of a more wealthy area, or more
very? You see what I'm saying? That's Short Hills Mall.
Short Hills doesn't mean that you don't have. Yeah. Well, wealth
no, I'm not saying wealth doesn't mean you don't have mental issues. But what I'm saying is, usually people who might be roaming the streets with mental issues, they're roaming the streets, or they're roaming certain kind of neighborhoods because they're unchecked. But in the suburb, Short Hills isn't even a suburb. They're beyond suburb. The people there are wealthy.
Right.
All right, I'm talking to Vic now, because she just
did a complications tonight.
That's all good. We'll see her in a minute. But you know what Short Hills is about. So it really bugged me out, this video, when she's chasing the woman, when the woman's chasing her around the store and she's still filming her. it seemed like she chased her almost around the entire store.
Mm-hmm.
So not a customer, it's not a customer's responsibility. No customer nor a worker stopped her until some sister who worked there looked like she's finally stepped in front of her. And it's just like, how was she able to just roam and act this way and be screaming and hollering? You're an adult. You're an adult. And if we could just do kid stuff like that, come on now. Like, that's black. Listen, Nicole couldn't have done that. She wouldn't have.
I think it would definitely be different if I did it and then called the police.
Ooh. Yeah. Now, see, I didn't even talk about that part. Like, if you had did that and then called the police as well, oh man, they would have been on you. Like, you would have been arrested most likely, or at least escorted out of there. Because the police officer, if you notice, his body language and his whole energy to me didn't seem like he was feeling her or wanted to have this conversation at all. Oh, I can't escort her out the mall. Yes, you can, because if she stole something or if she beat somebody up or stabbed somebody, you'd be escorting her out of the mall to prison. So I don't understand why you're saying you can't escort her out of the mall when she actually swung at this woman. She just missed because she don't know how to fight. And she lucky because the sister that was behind the camera sounded like a sister. So she lucky that blow didn't land, because that would have been a whole different situation.
And see, that's why I want to find out the context of what happened prior to the filming, because
like, why did she swing on her in the first place?
That, and just like the you said, the guy, the security guard's attitude. Did anyone blame the woman filming for being angry or distraught about what transpired? Because from what you clearly see through the video, to me, she had every reason to be upset. Like, what if she had caught and connected, and with a weapon or a hand or whatever?
Well, here's the thing. The conversation with the police officer, like the officer was talking to her. The officer didn't have, at least from what I saw, some detailed conversation with the crazy woman, with Karen. Karen was just roaming through the rest of the mall, buying hot dogs and buying kale or whatever else she needed. While the black woman is being spoken to in the corner over there, almost like she's getting ready to be detained. So to me, that whole thing was off and wrong, because she should be the one that's being talked to, but that's not what it is. Like, how do you hit? Listen, we would know if we hit somebody, we definitely ain't calling the police. Like, hello, this person's across from me. I don't know why. That's crazy. That right there, that issue needs to really be resolved, not just in her, but in white Americans, period. And I'm sure blacks have their own version of it that we need to take care of in-house. But that's got to be taken care of. That privilege is insane. And you know what? We're going to continue that conversation with the privilege with this next video that involves, what's this chick's name? Ashley Babbitt.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is that something that occurs in that area?
Obviously. Well, this is the first time I've heard of that in this area. I think there was one other Karen incident that was on camera from Montclair, New Jersey in recent times. Another really nice area. I mean, Montclair University is out there, so you already know. But in general, no, we don't come across that normally. At least not in an overt way. There's a lot of subtle racism that you see in Jersey, especially when you head further south towards PA. So,
okay, I know you want to go to the video, but I have a question for you guys.
Please.
Would you rather have overt racism or covert racism?
COVID racism.
COVID, not COVID racism.
I'd
rather have that though, but
we still have it. That's what we're talking about now. Anyway, sorry.
No, just if like down south, Southerners tend to be more, open with it. Yeah. And I think in the North, you have people where, you don't really know how they truly feel until maybe an incident happens. But a lot of times it's so covert and you don't really know. And,
You
you
don't know until
basically are
you
just in
know.
the dark about it.
So what do you
And, there might be some little things that come out. Yeah.
Mhm.
But what would you,
prefer? What would you prefer, Vic?
In a perfect world, neither one.
Right.
But
Leave me alone.
I like seeing my enemies and what they have in mind up front. I respect that more to know what I'm dealing with. Straight up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. It's sad that those are the choices. I get what she's saying, but
Mhm.
yeah, I would have to take overt than covert. What about you, Nicole?
I think I might. I remember talking about this years ago, and I used to say, well, we always got Al Sharpton in New York, because growing up in New York, you hear a lot of different incidents that would occur in the South,
Mhm.
and but
Mm.
it was like we didn't really have it here in New York, but it was,
Yeah,
but you knew it was happening,
yeah,
right? And that's true, and it was happening, like Mikhail was saying, bank loans,
yeah.
financing,
And
housing
mhm,
discrimination, job discrimination,
yeah,
employment discrimination. It happens,
I
but
don't
you
think.
don't know because you get smiles in your face, someone you think is your friend, but then
Yeah,
when it comes down to it, they're really not looking out for people of color.
not at all.
um right.
I don't.
So,
I don't think.
but I would say I would like to know where someone stands.
Yeah,
you
me
know
too. But I don't think that like people just. I just lost my thought. I had it.
Take your time, brother. Take
I
your
was
time.
no, it's gone. I was trying to hold it. Nicole was saying something. I was trying to interrupt
oh,
her.
sorry.
No, don't apologize because I shouldn't be interrupting. And I lost the thought. It's okay. It wasn't that important. But I don't think to me, Vic said it. We don't want either, obviously. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know which one is worse or more deadly because the overt you can prepare for, or they might overtly come at you or try to cause harm to you. But that covert version, like Mikkel was mentioning, with the bank loans and the things that affect you and generations to come, like either to me is equally dangerous.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So it all needs to go. Seed Popular said police find every reason to incarcerate when it's a black person, public disturbance, etc. Yeah, they find anything. I listen.
Now
Growing up, I didn't see some- go ahead.
I'm going to throw another curveball here.
Oh,
So, is it a racial thing or is it a class thing?
both.
And just that black people tend to be more populated in the lower class, like a lower economic status
Right.
or social economic status.
And when you say is it what a class thing or a
So
race thing?
the discrimination,
Okay.
you know, the all of the discrimination, and I think the types of incidents that we're talking about in the mall, they kind of point towards some type of discrimination. And again, not to even make any kind of excuse for anyone performing that way, behaving that way, but it's almost like this mentality that goes through the different generations,
Yeah.
and it gets learned.
Without
Because I don't
question.
think people are inherently bad.
Yeah.
I think
No.
it's a learned behavior.
Yeah. And they grow up seeing it. How many times have we heard a white person spaz out and say, "You know who my father is?" Like, oh God, here we go with this. All right, buddy, my father's gonna he pays your blah blah. Yeah, okay, all right. Ugh. Like they see that all their life. They see the privilege being flexed and thrown around without realizing it's privilege. They just because they're little, they don't know any better. They just think this is the way. This is how everyone around them who is.
Now, what do you think about Mikkel's comment?
I like that last comment. I don't like it, but I like it.
She said it's race, but you have a better chance of not experiencing it if you have money. Without question. But then LeBron James gets the N-word painted across his house. You see what I'm saying? So you face it in different ways depending on how much money you have. Yeah, it's different but I feel like even that high up, they experience.
Well, you experience it less.
You have, to me, when you have money, you then have a little bit more control of being, I guess, in situations or circles where you don't have to experience that, because it's not like, oh, I got to work this regular 9 to 5 and deal with these buttholes and deal with, police that are normally around circling these neighborhoods. You're on your own. You're doing your own thing. You're traveling the world. You're whatever you're doing.
Mikkel said, husband, you didn't listen. I said better chance.
Oh, okay. Oh. All right, so we got that correct. All right, next video. It's been a long week, y'all. I'm sorry. Sometimes, sometimes I mess it up too. It's okay. Oh, so anyway, so this next video actually ties into the topic we're already talking about. And this is the woman, Ashley Babbitt, I think her name is. She was the woman who was killed during the insurrection. She was one of the insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol and got shot and killed. And now they're doing this campaign. The Republicans are doing this thing where they're saying, you know how they say her name with Breonna Taylor. I'm sorry.
Taylor.
They're now doing that with her. They're doing the whole say her name thing with this woman. So I just want to show this video and then let's just have a quick discussion let's react to it, please.
Who shot Ashley Babbitt? Who shot Ashley Babbitt?
In America in 2021 under Joe Biden, you could just kill people, unarmed women, and you don't have to admit who did it.
If this country can demand justice for someone like George Floyd, then we can certainly demand justice for Ashley Babbitt.
And although officials have not publicly released or confirmed the identity of the officer who shot Babbitt as she was trying to breach the barricaded door, Trump and his cult are demanding to find out. According to one report, the fixation over her death may have to do with an unsubstantiated belief that the culprit in the killing is a black man. As Talking Point Memo writes, it's a detail that, once known, places the cause for the officer to be exposed and punished in a new light. The ensuing witch hunt takes on a racial tinge, casting Babbitt as the defenseless white woman killed by a black man. Defending white women has always been a tool used by white supremacists to activate resistance to and violence against black people.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah. Well,
Yo,
I'm at a loss for words.
what do I want to say?
Quite honestly.
say it, please.
I think it's this sounds to me like, I mean, I don't want to come off as good for her. She got killed doing what she was doing, because that's, I'm not advocating for anybody to lose their life or whatever.
No, but
in that regard, but this sounds to me like we come out chanting Black Lives Matter, for the reasons that we shout Black Lives Matter, because we want you to understand everyone should have a say. Everyone's life should be just as important as the next person. And when you marginalize Black people, we say Black Lives Black Lives Matter, because we want you to pay attention to what's happening to Black people. and to understand that Black lives matter just as much as white lives matter, or just as much as any other race in this country matters. When you reply with all lives matter, it sort of dilutes the point of the Black Lives Matter movement, and it says to me, you're not really listening to what I'm trying to tell you when I say Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what this reminds me of.
Yes.
If we can, and I guess I'm going off of the comment that was made about if we can say something about George Floyd, then certainly we should be up in arms about her. And you can't equate the two.
And she said of the likes of George Floyd, like someone like him, if we can do something with someone like him, then there's no reason why we can't do anything for this woman who we can.
I'm not even gonna make excuses. I think there's a group of people who just I don't understand it. If I have to understand it, my understanding would be that people are just trying to take us back to a time that ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah.
And yes, I said ain't.
Yeah.
But I know proper English.
Well, listen, this is like it ain't. So
right, like it ain't. Right.
Like it ain't.
It is like it ain't. And like it ain't gonna happen.
Like it ain't. We know it is. That's TIS. It is.
Right. TIS.
This is insane. These kind of white people are historically the biggest biters of all time. Every time Black people do something, create a movement, create a genre of music or anything, they jump in and just put their flag down and claim it as theirs or remix it. And in their remix, like Nicole said, there's always some water added into it. So it dilutes it. So, you got this hot sauce and then they just keep adding water into it. You're like, why are you putting water in my hot sauce? This is what they do. They always dilute the hot sauce and take it and make it their own. And you're saying, say her name about this woman. You're putting an American flag behind this woman. So for me, I'm saying, listen, if you want us to still honor this rickety old raggedy flag that you got, then you need to be consistent. Because if you're sitting here saying America is for everybody and America is about good people and true patriotism, you cannot have a flag behind this woman who was part of this insurrection. I don't care if she followed Trump. I don't care if she followed whoever. It doesn't matter. She shouldn't have been part of this insurrection. And when she got killed, I had no bad. I didn't wish her bad. But when it happened, especially the way she flew back, I ain't gonna lie and say I didn't chuckle once or twice when I seen that video.
But look, the flag. If you're gonna put the flag behind it, the flag is supposed to stand for everyone in America.
Right.
Everyone. Her, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and everybody else. You, me, and everybody. So,
right. Yeah.
What are you saying? That George Floyd doesn't matter?
Right.
Or we don't matter?
Yeah. And they're also saying, like Seed Popular said, Republicans are trolling. The clip said, he called out Biden administration like 45 wasn't the one in office when that happened. First of all, right. And they were like, oh, well, when Biden is going to be in office, you could just kill and shoot. You could just shoot people. Seed Popular, you just brought up a great point. Mm-hmm. That dude was talking like about the Biden administration as if they were at fault, but Trump was president when that happened. I guess he's saying now in the aftermath, no one's trying to hold anyone accountable. So what they want to do, they want to find out if this person who shot them is Black or not. Okay, so now here we go back to what Nicole said about all lives matter, but I'm going to go even further with blue lives matter. Okay, so y'all wanted to talk that blue lives matter talk and that's everything. So if blue lives matter then for y'all, it shouldn't matter if this officer was black, white, or whatever, because he was an officer. He was a blue life. So again, it's like y'all don't deal properly. You have a stance, but then it's like your conviction in it is deep as long as it benefits you. Once it doesn't, then suddenly you're like, oh well, I don't know. Listen, I'm done with the back and forth with these folk. I really am.
Yeah, no one should have died. I mean, I think
no one should have done an insurrection.
Outrageous. That was just really outrageous.
Listen, she got what she got. It's just like if Vic and I decide to go go in somebody's house, like they went into the house of the Capitol. If we get shot, it sucks, and our family would hate it, but it's our own fault because we went into someone's house unannounced. So yeah, she got what she deserved. Do I think anyone should die? Do I wish death on anyone? No. But this is what happens. I'm just saying, like, they're blessed that more people didn't get shot and killed. Because we know if it was black folk, oh man, we'd be celebrating this day the next year about the day the massacre happened, because it would be so many of us that would have been slayed. Man, get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm good.
There's a lot going on right now, like even with the votes, the voter suppression stuff going on. That's just huge. Really, really weird. It's just, I mean, are we really living in a time of, where Martin Luther King and John Lewis were actively fighting for voter rights or something? I mean, it's unreal.
I'm glad you put it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm glad you brought that up because we actually have a video for that too. We want to get to that. So let's get past Ashley. I'm done with this white chick. These white girls get on my nerves now. I'm done. Let's see the video.
I looked around those walls and I'm like, we built this. That at the end of the day, our people have made a great sacrifice in this nation. And here it is, almost 60 years from the voting rights movement at the start of it, and we're still appealing for voting rights. It is unacceptable. The Senate right now, I came all the way up from Georgia, as well as other people came up from Georgia, because we know that at the end of the day, the shaping of the political landscape, we helped to do that. Black women actually helped lead this cause of literally what happened last year in the election process. And so what we're saying is we're not going to be punished because we participated. We're not going to be punished because we showed up. It is time for us to make democracy real in this nation. It has to go beyond being a propaganda point. That if America is going to be a democracy, it has to be real. And if it's to be real, that means that every single citizen, regardless of their race or class or gender, that they would have equal and fair access to the ballot. And that is not the case right now. Black voters are being targeted all across this nation. In Georgia, right now, as we speak, the Secretary of State essentially said that he is going to he's calling for the resignation of the election officials in Fulton County because he's planning on taking over Fulton County, which you would know is the most populous and a black county in the state of the 2020 election.
I'm madder than I've ever been. Death or vote. You're going to have to vote. And I'm telling everybody, if the black people are stopped from voting, everybody loses. It's not a black battle. It's a democracy battle. All the Democrats need to be out here. All the people of color and all the people of righteousness need to be out here. It's not a black battle. It's a moral battle. It's a moral law. They're trying to take everything from us. If we don't vote, we die. If we don't vote, Jim Crow. If we don't vote, separate bathrooms. If we don't vote, slavery.
There you go.
We're standing here not because we believe in a system. We believe in us, and we believe in our own agency, and we believe that in our agency we have the right to make a decision. Any decision being made about me and my family, I have to be a part of that decision-making process. And so anybody that's watching this, every day there are decisions that are being made in this place that are impacting our children, that are impacting our families, that are impacting our community. And you have a responsibility to stand for it. You have a responsibility to stand for what it is that you believe in. So no, this isn't a matter of what is right or what should you do, or does it matter or not. Anytime I'm operating the fullness of my power, because God gave me that, not the U.S. Constitution. It is God that says that I have agency, that gave me that, because my life matters, and all the people in my community, our lives matter. And if we believe that, we have to stand on it. We have to act on it. And so that's why we're here at the Senate, and we'll continue to go to the Senate, and we'll go to the White House, and we'll go to the Congress, and we'll go to the streets. We're going to go wherever it's going to take for us to go, because we ain't going back.
Amen.
Woo!
She said,
we
ain't
Lord,
going back.
I need the name of that woman. Like yesterday.
Latasha Brown. She's the
That's who that
founder
was?
of Black Voters Matter.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking her up immediately after
Oh
the show
yeah, you
ends.
should follow her. She's definitely a powerhouse. You know, it's amazing. And she just shout out to my sorors and my Link sisters who are part of that coalition. But just all of the different leaders that were part of that group of women who, went out there, and the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Joyce Beatty, just so many. You got what's her name? Young and old. Tamika Mallory was out there. You had a lot of civil rights activists that from years of civil rights activism out there, just ensuring that. I don't even understand it. I just don't understand it. And I'm trying to understand, like, do they really think, with all of the resources that we have at our disposal now, with the education that we have now, do you think that we're really going to stand for that?
Yes, they do.
Back?
Of course they do. They've been running this for hundreds of years. They've been dividing us and distracting us for all this time. And they've been doing it well. Now, yes, there's been factions of us that have fought against it, and more of us are now. But it's going to have to take this to be happening for a lot longer for those people you're referring to, Nicole, to finally get it or be like, whoa, these black folk ain't stopping, because they've been running it. They've been controlling it. So, of course, unfortunately, they feel like, yeah, we got this. Shout out to the black women, man. I love y'all. Like,
same here, man.
She said it. Black women were a big part of what won the election the way we did this last time. And they're taking that and they're moving forward with that momentum. They're not just taking that victory and saying, all right, we won, and then they're just going home and packing up. They haven't gone back home yet. In some cases, literally, they haven't gone back home yet. They are still on the front line. Did you see how many grandmas was sitting there getting handcuffed? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. It's crazy to me as an officer of the law that you can rightfully feel okay with handcuffing a bunch of grandmothers because they're fighting for our rights, for all of our voting rights, for huh? What is that? Y'all don't have real crimes to fight or to deal with, How about y'all be police against racism instead of being police against someone trying to take down this old fascist system? Like, come on. What are these? You're going to just imagine all these grandmas sitting in a holding cell together. For what? For what?
Yeah.
Shout out to the black man.
There's a lot of people. I was reading an article in our local paper, the Washington Post, and I'm trying to remember her name, but she's 93 now. She was talking about the fact that a lot of times when people tell the stories of these civil rights movements, they don't often go to the women because they thought they were just cooking, and watching the kids. But she talked about how her husband just passed away in 2018, but he was sort of a right hand to Martin Luther King. He was I think he was like in leadership in the Southern Christian leadership, Southern. I'm sorry, I'm botching up the name right now, but SCL, SCLC, one of the major civil rights movement players during that time, and so there was a time when he came home and said, Martin said we got to go with the Freedom Riders, and she said, well, I'm going too. And she was talking about how she was sitting in jail. She had gotten jailed, not realizing. And she said, if she had been more in contact, with the women in the movement, she would have known, like, they used to sew pockets in their dresses so that they could have a toothbrush and something else. So she was saying she didn't learn that until afterwards. But like her first night in jail, she was thinking, like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
But she has stories to tell as well. And there's so many women like that who weren't just cooking the food and watching the kids. They were actually part of
the
on the battlefield, but also part of the strategy, know?
See, that's the thing though, Nicole. That's where these people got it twisted, because the person who is doing the cooking, the cleaning, and watching the children is actually the one you should go to, because that means they know all the stuff.
They were sitting there while you serving food. You're listening.
They know it all that's happening within this household and even some of the other households that are connected as well to the movement.
Right.
What's more important than that household? That come on, mother, father.
And what about that other? I forgot. I think in her 80s. There was a woman who she walked from Texas to DC. It was a whole like thing. Of course, she took breaks in between, but she was fighting for their voting rights.
Right.
Was it voting rights? Yeah, I think it was the voting rights activism she was doing. But Texas got a lot going on right now.
A lot. They've had a lot going on for a long time. I mean, come on.
But
deep in the heart.
A lot of these people who have been in the movement that are still alive right now, whose stories need to be told.
Yeah, there are a lot of stories that need to be told, without question. A lot of stories that need to actually be found, because there's so many stories that have been buried by just time, or then also buried by misinformation, because the police, the government, they're always giving us misinformation or putting out, these falsehoods. It's like, I just heard about a Texas man, actually, 65-year-old dude who got shot and killed in his home, similar to the way that Breonna Taylor did. And then they came back and tried to say, oh, well, we found a shotgun and some and all this heroin in his crib. Yet there is no evidence of no one that knows him or knows of him that shows that he would have anything to do with any drugs or a shotgun. And he served in the military for a long time, and the man is disabled. So when they shot him, he was sleeping. So no matter how much drugs or shotgun or whatever you have in the house, if the man is sleeping, there is no threat. You just broke into his crib. But that's what I'm saying. So my point is, they put misinformation out there. Oh, they had drugs in the house. Oh, there was a shotgun. Oh, they've been doing that forever. And it's time for us to start just peeling back those layers and finding the truth. I can't just accept what they say anymore. I need to do research. And if possible, I need to be able to talk to somebody who actually was involved or affected by whatever these events were that I'm researching. You can't trust this information anymore.
Right.
Anyway,
we're in a really I think we're in a really critical time, but I think it's a good time, because I think we're at a juncture where, first of all, there needs to just be an amendment, or some, maybe a constitutional amendment. Just, we should not be fighting for voting rights.
Right.
Still, and when it actually happens, then someone has an ability to take that away from you. No,
Right.
that should not happen. We are people too. It's been too long. It's time for everybody to accept that.
Listen,
We're not going away.
Yeah, let's make all the old white men retire. They're gonna be upset at first, but they're gonna still be well off. Y'all gonna have money, you're gonna have connections, you're gonna still have your hookers and whores and all the coke you want. But just step away from lawmaking and making decisions and formulating what affects society. I'm done with that. I'm done. But you're right. We are, even though there's so much going on, we're living in a great time because all of us are speaking up, expressing ourselves, finding ourselves, understanding more about the truth, about things that we once did that we realize now isn't right, and vice versa. So there's so much learning, and the young Black generation, they inspire me so much with what they did during this pandemic. And us, look at this show that we have right now. We weren't doing this 2 years ago, but here we are having these discussions, and people are joining us online to discuss it with us. So yes, I agree with you. This is a beautiful time. So anyway, we're going to end for the night. Vic, is there anything you'd like to say before we close out? I feel like there's something you should say because I think our brother has a new episode of his podcast out. I heard. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yes, indeed. I'm super, super excited about that. Wow, Miss Athena Johnson in the chats.
You see when she commented.
Hookers, of course.
Right, exactly. Hookers, whores, and coke.
She was somewhere else. She was like, I heard hookers, whores, and coke. All right, I'm coming. Big up, Athena. Thank you for commenting. We got nothing but love for you, sis.
It's been a minute, Athena. What's up? So yeah, on to your point before, I just released the episode that I'm super excited about. Man, I've been waiting to drop this one for a minute now, brother. Ernie Penacoli. I have so many thoughts racing through my head from the stuff that y'all were just chopping up from this episode. And speaking of this type of situation, if y'all don't know, please do your research on brother Ernie Penacoli. He's been a long time community activist. Oh man, for years and years. I mean, you can YouTube his name and find him on shows like Colorado, like a long list of different things where he's just put it down and educated people and was super outspoken, never bit his tongue, and addressed all these types of situations that we're talking about now and beyond. So it's an honor and pleasure to know this man. He's a good friend of the family. He's on my newest podcast episode. You can find that on my IG and Facebook page at Victory is Ours Podcast on IG, Instagram, and through Facebook. Check it out, please. I implore you. Like it's a really, really dope, informative episode. It'll be well worth your time. Check it out.
Word.
Is that the brother who, or
well, he's Native
brother.
Indian. Yeah, right. No, but he trust me in every sense of the word. He is a brother to the community.
Was he the one that so he documented a lot of hip hop history? He's a photographer. So okay, yes. I saw. I don't know if you have multiple episodes, but I saw one. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. Oh my God, you'll love it. Like
and there it is.
And again,
is Ours Podcast.
Please check that out. And again, not just like you can begin with my podcast episode, but don't stop there. Like do the research on this man. He is incredible. Like you'll just be amazed with like he's like done photography for almost every artist out there you could think of, from music to movies to activists to just, and he's still doing it. I don't know about post-pandemic, like he hasn't really been out and about as much because of his age, and just taking things, with precaution, but his impact and his legacy is still ringing throughout communities and throughout. I mean, you hear brothers like LL Cool J, Fat Joe, Busta Rhymes, so many people giving respect to this man. And not just for the pictures he took, but for the work he's done. with shows like I said, like this, like it ain't. I mean, again, just check out, do the research. That's all I got to say. I'll leave it at that. I can go on and on about this man. Do the research. Ernie Penacoli.
All right. Nice. And Nicole, once again, is she's somewhere remote. I mean, we're all remote, but she's somewhere on vacation again. Nicole has just been taking these trips to people's houses.
Fly for Wi-Fi.
She's like, you know what? I'm gonna be a house guest this summer. I'm gonna just go to people's houses, set up shop, do an episode
I needed it. I needed it.
You did. You do, and you deserve it more than anything.
I still need it. Yes.
So we're going to let her go and get to that.
But but yeah, definitely. You know, the one thing I will just say, first shout out to my daughter, Imani, but her stage name is at Imogen 143 or 143 Imogen. Okay. All right. Her stage name is Imogen. IMOGEN. And my niece, Martinique Woodley, she goes by Marty Drew. Both of them doing their thing. You know, got some great videos and stuff out. You know, definitely check them both out.
Salute.
The one thing I just will say, as we talk about just where we are in this time right now, you know, we want our folks, you know, your generations that come after you to look back and say, like, you know, what impact did you make while we were here, while we were present in this moment? And, you know, I mean, I think definitely I've just something to think about, you know, like how will I talk about how I made an impact around this time? I think we should all like think about that. And we're doing that with this show too. But
I was just thinking that. Wow. Yeah. Just thinking that. Salute to John Pelham, Mikkel Pelham, to you, Nicole, to the Pelham family, the Drews. Yeah, definitely. Respect. Oh, respect.
And you too. Yes, definitely.
My neighbor just started cutting grass all of a sudden at 7 o'clock. This is what we have. By the way,
I thought y'all heard them coming in. You know, they were like coming the door, and you know how the alarm system goes: front door open, back door open. You know,
I didn't hear that. No, I
didn't know y'all heard that earlier, and then
nah. Yeah, they're back there cutting. You know, in the suburbs, it feels like there's this obsession. Like every day in the summer, somebody's cutting grass.
Right.
Morning, afternoon, night. It's just constant. It's like this thing. All the grass will be cut, but then somebody's still cutting some grass. I'd rather have it than not, so it's all good. Suburb problems. Anyway, y'all, make sure to subscribe to the channel, Jersey Art Productions on YouTube. And also, stay tuned for tomorrow night's episode of Super MC. Okay? It is going to be our 50th episode. And just know that the next episode of Like It Ain't actually will be celebrating our 25th episode.
Wow.
Okay? Nice. That's an accomplishment. Yes, so tomorrow will be the 50th episode, and the music theme is Vic reaction songs. So it's pretty much songs that Vic has walked off to, thrown in the towel for, or just overall completely lost his ever-loving mind over. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to need y'all to be there because I think I'm going to be by myself because I feel like every time we play a song, Vic's going to have to walk off because it's one of his walk-off songs. So, you know, wish me luck. I might be by myself tomorrow, but it's all good. So,
I'll try to hang in there, man.
You're gonna try? Okay, cool.
I'm gonna try my best to hang in there. Yes.
He said try. He didn't say I'm gonna do it. He said I'm gonna try. All right, I'll accept. I'll accept that for now. All right. So listen, everybody. You have a good night. Love, peace, and hair grease.
All right.
All right. Remember.
Have a good night.
Good night. If your hair is short and nappy, TCB will make it happy. No more TCB. Do we still use TCB?